Okay, so one question that comes up quite a bit is, do you actually have to have a website in order to sell an online course? And we talked about this a little bit before, but today I want to dig in a little bit deeper into some of the reasons and some of the things that you must have versus some of the things you can skip for later. So let's get to it. I can't wait to chat with you today.
Welcome to the Course Creators HQ podcast, helping you navigate the latest techniques for creating and marketing online courses. And now, here is your host, Julie Hood.
Hey, welcome back. It's episode 210, and I hope you enjoyed the double episode last week and were able to catch the bonus with Sarah Jane West Watson. We had a great time chatting, and she's always so much fun to discuss things and learn from. So if you get a chance, especially my moms out there who are trying to juggle your online business with a family, you'll want to hear some of the things that she had to say. So today, though, I really want to dig in a little bit deeper on this website concept for online course creators. And we talked about this in episode 171, so I'll link to that episode if you want to listen to it later. But today I want to go a little bit further into some of the concepts. And the reason is, first off, this question, do you really have to have a website? I keep hearing this come up sometimes. And I want to talk about the pros and the cons and the different pieces of the puzzle here so that you can make the best decision for your business and where you're headed. So, do you need a website to get started? No, absolutely not. You do not have to have a website to get started. And in fact, I'm doing a workshop in a couple weeks. It's called Mini Course Magic, and it's all about getting started with your first mini course, offering it either for sale or to start an email list. I've got this tool that's free to get you started for your first 500 subscribers or students, and it's a great way to get started and test things out if you just want to dabble a little bit. Plus, it's a really, really cool platform, kind of focused on using your phone the way people are used to swiping on TikTok and Instagram and watching a course that way, as opposed to logging in to your computer and sitting there and watching videos. It's a whole new way to offer a course. So it's on a discount price. So go check it out. The link is in the show notes, or you can go to coursecreatorshq.com/210 and look for the Mini Course Magic link so that you can jump in with that. And that also kind of leads us into what you need to get started. You need an email newsletter plus a way to get subscribers. Way more important than having a website. You have to start building your own asset of the people who are interested in what you're talking about. So this includes things like a free gift that you're giving away, a landing page for them to opt in and sign up, the thank you page, the download page, or some way that you give them the gift. Maybe it's just email. So you need that email. That's the first thing I want you to be doing. And it's part of the reason we have that in Launchpad coaching, is I want you to get really, really good at an email newsletter. And then the second thing you need is a way to get paid. So there's lots of different options here, and sometimes people build that into their website, but sometimes you can just use something like PayPal, paypal.me, and get started getting paid. And then the third thing you need is a way to share your content. And there's lots and lots of ways to do this. And most people start with social media and will start sharing things on social media. And that's a fine way to get started. However, I do want you to start thinking about, okay, why would I need a website and what am I going to use it for? What are some of the advantages and at what point should I get going on it? So I do want you to have a website at some point. And here are a bunch of the reasons why. Number one, it becomes that central hub for your online presence. So it's someplace where people can kind of find you and find what you're doing if they want to go check you out. It also makes you look more professional and more credible. So when you're getting started, you are not an authority yet on testing out your course. And so it's okay that you don't have a website. But as you build your presence, you want to add in that professional level of, yes, of course, I have a website. Plus, you will want to have a way to have your personalized email so that your email is coming from your website as opposed to something like Gmail, because the email programs are not allowing you to send bulk messaging from Gmail accounts anymore. So it adds that level of professionality. And then some people really do go back and check out your website. And one of the most visited pages is your About page, where you talk about your story. So start there. Start with the About page. Put that in. Start with your homepage. And I like the homepage not to be a landing page per se. I want your homepage to be kind of a smorgasbord where people can scroll through, see what kinds of things you're doing and you're offering and you're talking about, and give them places to go to check those out. So it almost becomes a smorgasbord. It's not a great landing page because there's way too much on your homepage, but it's there to give them this full menu of what you're doing. So I was just working with a new website for a client of mine that we've been working together for a long time, and the website she had did not fit her business. It wasn't her image, it wasn't her style, and so we went out and we found a new one that just totally fits her personality, and it's so much better. So that's the other piece of this, is making sure that you're getting your branding to fit the messaging that you want to have. And a lot of times you do that with the colors and the fonts and really get that credibility into the website, and gives another way for people to know who you are. Okay, another piece of a website that I think is pretty essential. So whenever you're trying to figure out where you're going to put this, you want to be able to have a blog type concept where you're regularly sharing content. So I use the blog feature on CourseCreatorsHQ.com to share my podcast episodes. It becomes a place where I can send people back to super easy. Like I'm always sending you guys to the episodes, so I can send you to /210, which is episode 210, and has the notes and the links from this episode. So blogging, whether it's a podcast or maybe it's written or maybe it's a place where you put videos, it's a great way to build your presence online. And then you also want to be thinking about, okay, when I'm sending out, let's say you're using Pinterest and you're pinning things, where are you sending people that come across you? And where are you putting them to find out more, to check out more, to sign up, to pay for your course, to opt in for your free gift? So where are you sending them? And the website can be a good place to do that. Now, I will say I have used some other tools for some of the pieces that are not on my website. So leadpagesonline.com is one of the tools that I've used. It's gotten a little pricey over the years, but it's super simple for wanting to set up opt-in pages. So because it's so much faster than trying to use my website, I will use that tool sometimes for landing pages, opt-in pages, sales pages, kinds of things. But I still use my blog on my website because I want Google and the search engines to find the blog and send people there. So I hope that helps a little bit as you're think about where you're sending people and where are they landing and why, what you want them to do. Okay, the next thing is I want you to remember all the social media that you're building, it's rented real estate. In other words, they can change the algorithm, the site can go down, something could happen to your account, you could lose all of that. So we want to have your own real estate that you own. Your website, your email list, those are your assets, and you're building them as you're building your business. And then lastly, and this is a really fun one, is we want to give people a place to binge your content. So if you go out and you check out the podcast, you will notice that there are links all over the place to check out other podcast episodes, check out the previous episode, check out the next episode. So I'm giving people a place to really go through and binge a lot of these episodes if you wanted to. So you want that to also be something that you own. Okay, so those are the reasons why you need to add in a website. Here are some questions that I want you to ask as you are thinking about, okay, I'm going to do this website. How do I need to pull it together? And for those of you who already have a website, these questions could also be helpful in case you haven't considered them yet. So first off is, where will you host it? Like, what tool are you going to use to host it? So some of the all-in-one type course tools also include a website. So something like Kajabi includes a website for you. So check that out first. If you're going to use one of those all-in-one tools, you might get the website too, and you don't have to use a separate host. Otherwise, you may have to come up with a separate tool that you're paying for your website. Number 2, what pages are you going to include in the website? What's most important? So I talked about the About Us page and the blog. Those are super important. The homepage. If you're going to have some kind of shop, if you're going to have some kind of coaching page, those are all things to consider. Number 3, what is the branding going to look like, and how can you make sure that it fits your personality and who you're trying to reach? So, for example, if you have a very pink and flowy font website, it's probably going to appeal more to females than it will to males. So that's one of the reasons Course Creators HQ, it's kind of bland with blue and gray and yellow. Those are more neutral colors. I'm not trying to reach males or females, but depending on who you're trying to reach, you may need to use specific branding. And then check out, is there a template that you can use? So for my client, when we redid her website, we found a template that is gorgeous. I'm so happy. And if you're at all interested in what's possible, you can check out rubywilliamscoaching.com and see exactly what we did for her website and how it all came together and how gorgeous it looks now. Okay, then what's your budget? And are you going to do a DIY, do it myself, or are you going to hire someone to help you with a website? And I think sometimes for your first one, it is possible to get going on your own website. Just be careful if you are not sure how your design skills are. And so most people are either decent at design or they're kind of terrible at it. And so I don't want you wasting a lot of time on this, trying to make it look perfect. Just hire it out. Or if you are decent with your design and you pick the right tools, you can do some of it by yourself. It just depends on your skill level there. And then on number 6, what's essential to include on your homepage? So that goes back to what I was talking about of, I like to use homepages as kind of a menu smorgasbord and include the different things that you have going on. Anything that's current should be included and break it up though. We don't want just one big long page of content. We want it to have lots of images and bullets and dividers and different colors and make it interesting, but you can make it a smorgasbord. And make sure that you also include places for people to opt in. Now, don't use it as a landing page because you don't want to be sending all of your traffic to this homepage, but there are some people that will opt in from the homepage. So make sure at the top and the bottom and maybe somewhere in the middle, you have places for people to opt in to your email newsletter. And then the next question, number 7, what pages will you need to be selling your courses, your offerings, your coaching? What pages do you need? And number 8 is, what pages do you need for the opt-ins and where are you going to put those? So thinking about all of these pieces before you sit down and actually work on your website is really important. And then the last question I will give you is about domain names and what name should you use. And so we were talking about this. I've been doing these Friday sessions where I'm helping people with their best next step. And so if you want to join us, we've got a couple more Friday sessions to figure out your best next step. And one of the things that we were talking about was, what domain name should I use? So I'll give you a couple quick rules, and then come to the coaching session. We can talk about your specific domain names. Number one, always use the .com. Because if you don't use .com, you're going to be sending traffic to other people's websites who has the .com, because people just forget. They don't recognize that you're .co, or they forget that you're .ca, or just get a .com. Secondly, I think especially when you're getting started, you want to keep it more generic in general, and maybe even keep it tied to your name and not a certain branding, because what ends up happening a lot of times for coaches is they shift their focus. So they start out in one direction, and then after they get into it, they realize they want to shift their focus, but they've already started with a domain name that doesn't necessarily fit what the new direction should be. So if you keep it generic, like we are talking about rubywilliamscoaching.com, that's really generic. She can coach around any of the topics that she can help people with, as opposed to her original website was set up with a certain name that now is not fitting her branding. So we're using Ruby Williams Coaching again to keep it more generic for her. So get the .com, think about a generic name that you can use, and then that gives you some places to start. And there's so much more that we could talk about on all of this. I've tried to hit the high points and some of the big points for you. But if these are things and these are questions that are coming up, please consider come to the next step workshops, come to the Launchpad, jump in with me. Let's talk about it, and let me give you specific advice and help you with what your next steps should be and what you should be doing. So lots of stuff from here. Check out the Mini Course Magic workshop. Check out Lead Pages Online if you need a quick way to get some pages up. Check out Ruby Williams' site at rubywilliamscoaching.com. Come to the next best step free coaching sessions on Fridays, or consider jumping into the Launchpad. So I'll put all those links in here for you. Lots to explore and lots of ways that we can work together, both free and paid. So thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you subscribing to this podcast. It's one of my favorite times of the week to get to talk to you, and I thank you for listening and giving me space in your earbuds. Take care. Have an incredible week, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Talk to you soon.